Yoku's Island Express. I'm going to give this game some props for coming up with a new way to do platforming. To me, a game really has to be different for me to really enjoy platforming gameplay, since it's one of the most common and easiest ways to make a game, next to racing of course. This title combines platforming with pinball, and as insane as that may sound, it's actually really fun to play. When I first heard about it, I'm like, there's no way that could work, but it really does. Now the story is about a dung beetle who's attached itself to a ball for some reason. It comes into town just as the old postmaster quits. I guess the postmaster's tired of rolling around trying to get to the town. It's not exactly nearby. So the old postmaster decides to elect you the new postman. And before he could say no, we're roped into delivering the mail. Goody! You roll around areas with a ball. At first I was flashing back to Billy Hatcher and the giant egg for the GameCube. However, it becomes clear that the ball is going to be how you maneuver in this game, as you roll up ramps and bounce off bumpers. You use the Z triggers on the respective sides to each of the paddles. The way that you shoot the ball up the areas could be a bit frustrating, but that's the way pinball is. You have to have specific shots to make the ball go in the direction that you need. There were sections where you just keep hitting the ball in the same place just because you missed hitting it by a split second. Again, this is more of a complaint about pinball itself, and I don't really fault the game for it, but it is still annoying enough to mention. You travel through the land unlocking new parts as you upgrade your abilities. I guess you could call this a Metroidvania game, a term I found out about after many people told me after one of my reviews. I think it was probably SteamWorld Dig, but I'm sure it came up before that. It was a very colorful game. It kind of had the feel of a Rayman type environment. There were a lot of things to collect, from fruit to unlocking new pathways, to a chest with upgrades, or even a character to collect to unlock a new part. I did like the sense of freedom that the game portrayed. You could take the optional route, but it would cost you some fruit. But fruit literally is everywhere in this game. Sometimes these optional paths would take you to a different part of the world, or maybe it would just take you to a collectible. You never knew when you were spending the fruit most of the time what it was going to be, and it was fun to find out. Now believe it or not, this pinball platforming has puzzles for you to solve, like how do you open a door, or how do you turn off the wind that's stopping your ball? With pinball, of course! It's all about using the different bumpers and paddles to your advantage. There are plenty of things here for completionists, like new things that you might have missed for a second playthrough. This is one of these games that I might actually want to go back and replay. Yoku's Island Express has to be one of the best pinball platformers that I've ever played. It's also the only pinball platformer I've ever played. Now, of course, someone's probably going to go back and say, well, you played the Wii game, and that very well might be true. I've done almost 900 videos. I can't remember them all, but I have a good feeling this is probably the first. This game was great. It was fun and easy to pick up and play. My only concern was the pinball physics, and it not being accurate enough to be consistent on where you're wanting to hit the ball when you want to hit it. However, retrying a hit that you may have missed was actually a very simple process, and it quickly reset. All these complaints could really be said about any pinball game, as it's hard to judge how the ball will go inconsistently in all of those games. The game is $19.99, and it's definitely worth a buy. It's thrilling to shoot your balls through the passageways and find new places to explore. Wow, 2 games in a row that I actually recommend. Am I on a roll? I hope so. I can't wait to see what I'm going to do next. But for now, if you're looking for a fun platformer with a twist, you can't do much better than this.